What's up everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I want to talk about the mass increase of hate crime that is targeting Asian American and also Asian American immigrants that has been happening throughout the entire United States and how that ties into mental health. So first of all, I want to address these two types of racism that I'm going to be talking about in this video. So the first one is direct and the second one is indirect. So for direct, meaning that someone can say something to you straight to your face. It can be on social media posts or even someone is intentionally wanting to hurt you. Another one, indirect, meaning that they can avoid eye contact with you or, just making a minor comment. So those indirect comments can be described as microaggressions. So I want to dig deeper in what microaggression really means. So microaggressions are the everyday slights and insults experienced by any marginalized group. They can be comments, actions, or even looks that someone gives you. They're usually rooted in stereotypes, racist beliefs, or even genuine ignorance. They can be malicious or completely unintentional. Sometimes it's easy to brush them off, but other times they can shake you to your core. Also, research have shown that repeated microaggression can hurt someone physically and mentally. They cause chronic stress, they can wear you down. They have linked to increased depression and anxiety and lower self-esteem. Microaggressions can also make it hard for someone to succeed at school or work. They can create a hostile environment. The recipient may feel insulted or invalidated. Victims of microaggressions may have difficulty feeling comfortable with coworkers or teachers. So I'd like to give you some of my personal examples of where I was racialized because of the way I look. So when I first came to this country with my parents loved to attend antique fairs. One of the antique fairs that we had gone to, I remember I was only 10 years old, and one of the antique fairs that we had gone to, the seller had refused to sell to us was because of the way we look and because I had to translate for my parents. So they refused to talk to us. They refused to even look at us. And matter of fact, they kicked us out of the antique fair. Another personal example. So when I was in Southern California, I went to the bar at night. And, after the bars closed and everything, they kicked you out at like 2 a.m. My friends and I, and also my partner back then, we were all chilling outside. So, we were talking and stuff like that. And then there was these 3 guys, they walked by and I saw that, they were looking for a lift to go home. So, I was being nice and I told them, hey, if you walk down the street for a little bit, the lift fare is going to be cheaper. So the guy turned around and pointed at my face and told me and say a bunch of Chinese words that I didn't even understand. I wasn't mad at all. I was just very shocked of the fact that somebody could say something like that. But, my friends were mad for me. My friends were very defensive. So when facing these situations, how do you deal with these situations where you're not going to hurt yourself mentally and physically? Well, I'm going to show you a couple of techniques, okay? So first of all is the practice of resilience. So the resiliency is the ability to bounce back from adversity. When facing racism and microaggressions, you can learn to respond to them in the most resilient way as possible. So the first practice of resilience is for you to be aware of the situation. That's if you're planning to confront the situation. Determine if it's safe for you to speak up. So evaluate if it's worth the time for you to speak up about the situation and also seek support. So in case that you want to call out the microaggressions, please keep these steps in mind. So account for awareness. Maybe the person that did the microaggressions probably isn't aware of the impact, meaning they might, just meant it as a compliment. So that's coming from the mindfulness perspective. Thinking of the other person's perspective. Maybe they just, complimented you in the wrong way. So, you may want to explain to them, hey, this is how you made me feel and this is how I took your compliment. So maybe you might want to explain to them what they said to you wasn't right. So next one is expect different reactions. So people might respond differently where they might blame you for being hostile. So the next one is work with what you have. So there's a chance that the other person may not be able to understand what you're going through and what you're feeling when they committed that microaggression. Even so, you can still talk to them and ask them to change their behavior. So be clear and concrete on what you're asking asking them to do. So the next one is be compassionate. Take into consideration that talking about race might be the first time that somebody's actually being put in that situation. Don't write off a person as racist or an enemy just because of a single comment. Even allies have blind spots like myself. I have to be educated on so many aspects in order for me to understand certain things, right? So we're all humans, we're all learning, learning one day at a time. The second practice of resilience is for you to be able to be aware of your own emotions and feelings. The second one is actually the most important one. The reason why I say this is because this helps you to work on your internal self, being your own witness. So in many cases, you may decide not to say anything, right? You can still be resilient with your internal response. You can always validate your own experience. So the microaggression did happen, and it might have caused you real pain, even if you're holding it inside. Slow down and ask yourself, how do you feel about what just happened? Doing that, acknowledge your own personal feelings and that they are legit and real. So here are some of the emotions that you might have experienced when facing microaggression. You might feel angry, you might feel fear, you might feel sad because of what they said. Also numbness, because sometimes you just can't believe why did that person say it. Sometimes it can be a friend, sometimes it can be a teacher, a lot of times it could be just random strangers, right? So always remember to validate your own feelings when it comes to these type of microaggressions, and make sure to take care of yourself. So whether your response is to speak out loud to yourself, it's important to be kind to yourself. So here are some of the techniques that will help you bounce back from a painful incident. First of all is self-affirmation. So remind yourself that you are valuable and you deserve to be treated with respect. So second of all is seek a safe place. So find a place where you can rest and relax and kind of just take care of yourself, take care of your thoughts internally. Cool down. Take a long, deep breaths. Practice a couple of deep breathing or breathing techniques so that you can calm down your body and mind. Get support. Connect with friends or allies who understand your experience. Go to a support groups. Remind yourself that you are not alone. Self-care. Take care of yourself. Try activities like mindfulness meditation, hobby, taking a bath, drinking a cup of tea, listening to mindful music, just put on a playlist and enjoy the music. So another one is get it out, right? So one of the experiences that I find very, very helpful for me is to journal. So it helps to write about your experience into the journal, and it helps a lot to put things into words and perspective. So with all that in mind, I would like to say how you respond to what happened will determine your mental and physical wellness going forward. So take proactive steps to protect yourself. It might be just, giving yourself internal validation to validate your own feelings. And with that often involve, taking care of yourself, giving yourself space, performing self-care. So I hope that these techniques will help you all in coping with the microaggressions and the racism that's going on through your life. And I hope you all can spread this awareness of anti-racism for the Asian American groups and also other minority groups, so that we as human beings can feel more validated on our own feelings and emotions, and we don't have to walk around being scared of somebody's going to target us. So thank you so much, and thank you for taking your time today, and make sure to work on yourself mentally so that you can guard your mind and become a peaceful version of yourself. Thank you.